in college?
I've been doing good. I've been trying to get back into running a little bit more, but I'm having trouble staying motivated. It's really difficult for me to finish my runs. But since you guys are exercise science majors and I'd like to know my money's being put to good use, I thought maybe you could help me understand why it's so hard for me to run.
Well, Mom, the key issue with exercising is increasing cardiac output.
Allow me to use this nifty tool called the pressure volume loop to help you understand. The x-axis is the volume, and the y-axis is the pressure. Let me begin with the first component, end-diastolic volume. A trained individual has a large end-diastolic volume, due to a greater blood volume and enhanced venous return. Since you are untrained, yours is likely much lower. Let's see what that looks like on this curve. When you have less blood volume and a lower venous return of blood back to the heart, end-diastolic volume is lower, and this line would stop here. This means that the area is now smaller, which results in a lower stroke volume. This results in a lower cardiac output, as well as making exercise more challenging.
All right, Mom, let me help you out.
So take these two water bottles. These are going to represent two different hearts. When you have a heartbeat, the heart contracts, and when it relaxes, it fills with blood. The water here is the blood. This heart represents an endurance-trained athlete and is filled with more blood than an untrained individual. When the heart contracts, it squeezes blood out, like so. What you can see here is that these two cups, which represent the rest of your body, are filled to different levels. The endurance-trained heart, which had a greater amount of blood in the heart before the contraction, was able to pump out more blood into the rest of the body than that of an untrained individual, and thus is more efficient at exercising.
Oh, I see. I guess I know everything I need to know about end-diastolic volume now.
Not quite.
End-diastolic volume is representative of preload, a concept that is explained by the Frank-Starling mechanism. This states that the amount of stress experienced by the muscle fibers is directly related to the force of the subsequently generated contraction. A more forceful contraction generates a greater pressure inside the ventricles and helps increase stroke volume and cardiac output.
Wait, I thought when things were stretched, they aren't as strong anymore.
Let me give you an example.
This rubber band
represents the walls of the heart. When I stretch the rubber band, more energy is stored, and when it recoils, it will travel farther. Similarly, when more blood is returned to the heart, the walls of the heart will experience more stretch, and then when they recoil, more blood will be pumped out. Now, when less blood is returned to the heart, the walls of the heart don't experience as much stretch. Therefore, when they recoil, they won't send out as much blood.
Oh, that helps a lot. But could my hypertension be affecting my ability to exercise?
Indeed it could, Mother.
Hypertension increases peripheral resistance, which leads to a greater afterload on the heart. The heart has to work harder against pressure. This increased afterload causes a greater end-systolic volume with each contraction. The rightward shift in end-systolic volume causes your stroke volume to decrease.
All right, take a door analogy. In a healthy heart, I open it, and I can easily go through it. Like blood easily pumping out of the heart. Take a heart with hypertension. As I push the door, it is much harder for me to get out of it. It is as if someone is putting resistance on the door, which makes it much harder for me to get out. Similar to a hypertensive heart, where there's more resistance, and this blood is much harder to pump out.
My cardiologist told me at my last checkup that contractility is really important for exercise and for aging. Exactly how does that work?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Catecholamines help to increase the force of contraction. This helps the ventricles generate greater pressure and reduces end-systolic volume. Now stroke volume is increased, resulting in a greater cardiac output.
I know I should understand you by now, but I just don't.
Catecholamines
These are substances produced when we exercise, and they increase with training. They help the heart muscles contract harder, which forces more blood out. Take these two water bottles, which represent two hearts that are filled with the same amount of blood. If one has a very low contractility, it will contract very weakly, and some blood will leave, but we will still have a lot of blood left in the heart. Now, if the other one has a high contractility, it will contract much more forcefully, causing more blood to leave the heart, meaning less blood is left in the heart. So with training, increasing contractility allows you to increase the amount of blood which leaves your heart and goes to the body, making exercise more efficient.
There we go. And that's it. And is that the cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys should get an A.